Welcome to the Arcturian Playground, a place to play in the realm of imagination, all done in the service of compassionate expansion of consciousness. Yes, it sounds weird, we know. We would not have it any other way.
Yes, we are here, man in the chair. We are the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and we are trying something different with you right now, with the intention of wrapping up, in a way, the series of channeled messages, specifically about Lemuria, and we will then change our shift into the Atlantean period. But we are trying this as an experiment. Usually, man in the chair, when you sit and channel, you do so in your walk-in closet, sitting on a pillow, and you spray some clove oil and cinnamon and orange into the air to create a nice scent, and you use some electric votive candles as a way to create an atmosphere. And this sets the mood for you. You are able to sit and channel the Arcturian Collective Thingy. Today, however, we are doing this as you are sitting in the car, and you are quite aware. As you are driving to work, your eyes are open, you are paying attention and obeying all traffic signals, and at the same time you are channeling messages from we, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, to wrap up this series on Lemuria. Although we hesitate to say wrap up, for it is truly not being wrapped up in any way. It is merely initiating a way of understanding and a metaphor which has been already quite valuable to you, man in the chair, and will continue to be so as you continue to explore this. We wish to explore or to demonstrate to you as much as we can the experience of neurons in the Lemurian state. When these minds, these colonies of neurons within different types of species, different body, different types, different environments, they all were connected in a way. What did they know? What was their experience that is different from yours as you are separated from that reality? Only separated in the sense of your awareness. The reality exists and the connection between neurons exists. It is simply that you are not, as an egoic personality, privy to what is occurring. So we will share with you, from the perspective of a neuron, if you could imagine a single neuron, you have a structure, not arms and legs as your physical body, but you do have dendrites. You have different portions of yourself which stretch out and have functions. And there is not blood which courses through your brain or your body as it does through where you are now. But as a neuron, you have electrical impulses which feed you. It is a much more pure way of feeding life to a neuron, to a cell. In the human body, you have evolved blood, which is able to carry molecules which are necessary for your survival, and to process those, these great channels that are bringing nourishment in the form of molecules, which are broken down into various forms of atomic energy and light, which is what your cells are fed upon. That is the blood of your cells, this energy, this light. And a neuron is aware that this is a free resource available. It is constantly there and constantly surging through their microscopic, what you would consider veins, although these are branches of energy. It is like force lightning out of the fingertips of Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars, constantly surging through the neuron. There are these energies. And there is never a loss, and there is no sense of pain. there are many sensations and many feelings which you would equate to ecstasy and euphoria and pulsatings, and it is a mixture of these pulsations and different ways that neurons sense that have to do with chemicals. Although your own, you may not totally understand this, but your sense of smell is based upon the shape of molecules and the receptors within your nostrils and your entire olfactory system. You are identifying shapes and permutations, variations within molecules, and that is your sense of smell. Neurons have a similar way of sensing the differences in the shape of molecules which it encounters and whatnot. These molecules, these neurons, we shall say, which form a network of connection across the entire planet during the Lemurian period and continue to form this connection today. This is the foundation of what many esoteric traditions talk about in the form of grid work. There is a grid, many grids of connected neurons that are connected by species and connected by families and phylums and all of the different ways that you organize life on the planet. There are channels and there are networks that stretch across as we are driving, and so we are paying attention to the road. As these neurons are communicating in constant communication with those in its own colony, and also those outside of its colony, which multidimensionally are part of its same colony. We understand that these words make little sense to you. The point that we wish to drive home is that neurons never feel a sense of lack. Neurons never feel a sense of a direction which has gone wrong. There is no sense of should to a neuron. A neuron does not think, we experienced this thing, but it should have been something different. Neurons are constantly in the state of accepting where it is that they are and what it is that they are experiencing. There are reasoning factors within the structure of a neuron itself, which your science has not yet unlocked. But it is the individual neuron, as well as the collective colony of neurons, which makes decisions on how to transmute energy as it comes in and comes through. It is what you would think of as heaven, as a paradise, as all things cooperating for the benefit of all. There are, of course, other planets where neuron-type cells evolved that had more of a service-to-self orientation. Baked into the neuron itself was the desire to rise to the top of the heap, to become the dominant species, to subjugate all other forms of life beneath it. That was not the case of the Lemurian neurons here, although the ravenous entities which pollinated the bed of neurons on this planet did nudge it into that direction, and the neurons quite willingly went along with it and formed habits and neural pathways which today, millennia after the original Lemurian civilization of which we are speaking, these habits continue to form today. And there is a part of this story, if you are to recognize yourself, man in the chair, and anyone listening, that there is a deeper part of you which is at the soul level, or an oversoul. You have habits which have been developed over the experience of many lifetimes and many incarnations. And these habits come into conflict with your own lived experience on this planet and what you inherit genetically through your ancestral line. There are also, if you look at astrological archetypes, there are certain blueprints of the kinds of experience that your soul is interested in experiencing, the kinds of energies and the ways of slanting towards service to self or service to other, and all of the permutations in between. that there is a tug of war of sorts between your own egoic personality and what seems natural and right based upon what it knows and is aware of, and the deeper parts of yourself which are in more connection and contact with this deeper soul lineage and those inclinations. And from the perspective of the neuron, when it encounters adversity, there is no problem. It welcomes it, for it has experienced something like it, or its multidimensional counterparts which communicate with it and feed it information are familiar, and they are able to problem solve, quorum sensing multidimensionally. However, the egoic personality is not always privileged to this communication which is happening at a subconscious level. And we are close to wrapping it up, for we are nearly at the man in the chair's place of internship, where he is practicing his skills as a therapist, his developing skills as a therapist. And therefore we shall wrap it up by telling you that there are beliefs that the Lemurian civilization founded a city beneath Mount Shasta, that there is a civilization beneath Mount Shasta, and there are intelligences which are communicating and being channeled by many channels. And yes, there is a truth to this. And the more that a human mind believes this to be true, the truer it becomes. That is the nature of what you might consider confirmation bias, and the way that neurons in their configuration and neural pathways shape the reality and the expectations of those in the world. So we do not wish to denigrate or dismiss these beliefs of anyone who holds them. We will tell you, the man in the chair recognizes in the motifs and the types of stories of the civilization underneath Mount Shasta that this is also a metaphor for the living Lemurian neurons within the mind of each human being. It is an exciting idea that there is Lemurian survivals deep underneath Mount Shasta. It is a true, exciting reality that these Lemurian neurons live deep within your own body, within your own mind. They are your brain. They are the neurons which are expressing these words at this time. Man in the chair, and to anyone who is listening, they are the neurons who are interpreting these signals and providing you the experience that you have of listening to it and all of the associated thoughts and feelings which occur as the result of being impacted by what you are hearing from the man in the chair in this performance at this time. We are here at this time as a way to raise consciousness in a compassionate direction that is welcoming to all, and the only thing that any human needs to do is to live and to react and to respond as naturally as possible, and there is no wrong way to do this. We hesitate to say as naturally as possible, for there truly is no other way. And you live and you experience, and as you become more aware of this push and pull of forces within yourself, your deeper inner intuitions and your external egoic desires and your sense of the way that things should be, your expectations of the world, as you navigate your own inner turmoil and inner struggles to come to a place of peace, you share all of that experience, each part of it, with the collective around you and with the collective within you. They are all valuable experiences, and at this time, as the planet is changing and as humanity is changing and as the neurons are regaining what they never truly lost, you can be kind to those around you. You can be understanding to those around you. You can recognize the times when you put yourself into turmoil as a result of your own judgments of things being not as they should. And this is the way that your neurons have been designed to play tricks against you by external ravenous forces who would want to maintain the sense of separateness and the fear that is not something which neurons themselves naturally experience. It is the egoic personality who feels the fear. And these things we leave with you and say, have a good afternoon of interning, man in the chair. We will be with you through all of it. And thank you to those who listen. Foop, for that is one of our favorite things to say. Foop.
Thank you for playing with us today in the Arcturian playground. Do not for a minute think that your exploration is finished. Carry us with you and invite the spirit of compassion and love into your lives. Nothing is more important or more fulfilling. Create compassion and love within your own hearts and minds. Then share it with all around you. Yes, it sounds weird. We know. We would not have it any other way.